Hey there, Brady here with your daily tennis lesson. So we're looking at topspin in general this week. Today specifically, we're going to look at this really cool idea called the Magnus Effect. There was a video that was put out on YouTube a couple years ago. These guys went to the top of this dam, I think it was out in New Zealand or something, and they took a basketball and they just kind of dropped the basketball out of their fingers straight down, and the ball just dropped perfectly vertically. Okay, just got straight to the bottom. Then they didn't go get that one, they had another one. And on the very next take, they took the basketball and just gradually spun it backwards. So it had some underspin going on. And when you see that ball drop, it's like, just takes off way out over the water. I don't know how far it traveled, but ultimately the idea of that Magnus effect is that, you know, spin on a ball, it's dragging the air that's around the ball. And it creates obviously a lot of shape compared to a ball that's not utilizing any spin. So you look at that just throughout sports. You know, you take a soccer player who has a free kick and you put a wall of guys up in front of him. If he just kicks that ball with no spin, it gets blocked down. So you see a lot of these soccer players do what's called bending a soccer ball, and they create side spin, and they're able to curve the soccer ball in midair. It's one of the coolest things, and that is really utilizing this idea of the Magnus effect, because the air is just being dragged around the ball, creating, you know, different movements. All right. So where do we find the Magnus effect in tennis? Honestly, it's all throughout tennis. Slice serve, underspin, you know, backspin, a little bit of a side spin slice backhand. We're creating drag around the tennis ball, and it's cool for two reasons. One, you're creating, you know, shots for yourself that work differently into the opponent's side of the court, not just giving them the same cookie cutter ball every time. But with that on the other end, it's obviously more difficult for your opponent to deal with a tennis ball that's been, you know, dragging the air around it, creating different movement, because they're not getting a ball that just comes directly into them, you know, moving essentially flat. Okay. Now, where's probably the most important place we see, you know, this Magnus effect in tennis? It's really topspin. I think when you watch the pro game, you see these pros taking just huge cuts at forehands, huge cuts at backhands. How are they keeping that ball in the court when the ball itself is moving 100 miles per hour? It's not that much real estate out here to be able to keep a 100-mile-per-hour ball inside the lines. Ultimately, you know, they're dragging that tennis ball with topspin. It's creating a vacuum effect under the ball, pulling it down to the ground, all, you know, under this umbrella of the Magnus effect. And that's why they're able to hit the ball so big these days, probably even compared to what was going on in the late 70s and early 80s when the ball was being struck flatter. You saw players that were more technical and really more placement based, and now the pro game can be so overpowering because they can keep a ball in the court with just a huge swing, because that Magnus effect is pulling that ball towards the ground. Okay, so just a little understanding, I think, of some of these scientific terms is a good way to just wrap your head around why it's important to be spinning the tennis ball, especially ultimately to be using a lot of topspin in your ground game. Okay, so I hope that was cool and helpful for you guys. That's all I got for today. Please click like below this video, and if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do so, as well as check down below me in the description of this video. You'll find the link to 3 free courses that Mark and I have put together. I think you'll find those really helpful as well. Okay, so until next time, be well. We'll see you soon at Daily Tennis Lesson.